So welcome to the top 5 assassins for beginners. The first god we're looking at is Arachne. I've started training mode for jungle, as it's much easier to it's just much faster to get through all the stuff. Pretty close to what the real game situation is, well, at least sort of. So as Arachne, we're an auto attack based god, which is really great. We have a couple options here with what items you may want to start: Bomber Dagger, Eye of the Jungle, or Mannequin Scepter. So by looking at it, so if you're new to the jungle, like in completely new, Eye of the Jungle is your best friend. Every time you kill a monster, a large jungle monster, you place a ward at its location, which helps you covering the map, sort of. Yeah, let's go Eye of the Jungle. And we get this. And maybe something like this. Basically, we're a bit late to the jungle-ish game now. But I will restart again. So as you can see, the first ability you've skilled on Arachne is her web. So 3. We move on to the next camp. Like this. So second camp done. Then you level your 1. You move on to the mid camp. Basically, you need to check a little bit. Has your laner enough? The mid lane enough wave clear? If he has enough wave clear, then go for it. Also means he has outcleared the enemy laner, and so we have basically a free mid camp. So throw this out, activate your 1 stim.
We're a man short.
So the camp is secured. Then you can walk on to the lane. You can either help harassing the enemy god, or with the aid of a mid laner, you can also kill him. Kill him would probably be the most preferable outcome. Then help your mid laner pushing the wave. The spiders help you quite a lot with it. You don't have something like this. Don't eat tower shots. That's not what you want. And then you can move on to the second camp in the mid lane. Usually your mid laner will then come over and help you, like this. Then you can look into killing the mid laner, enemy mid laner, maybe again when he's back to lane. But usually you would the buff camps are done at this point. But usually you would go back quickly to your back camps. Most of the time, your mid laner should probably follow you. You can clear this out. Then you can have a look at the oracles over here. They will give you vision on the Gold Fury pit, or I would call it. So you can either, if it's possible, you can call for help on your support, but you don't have to. Usually your mid laner should do that with you. And you clear out that camp real quick. And in between clearing the camp, always look at the map. If you get an opportunity to gank a lane, maybe get a kill or force the enemy laner back. So basically you can, then if it's not warded, can sort of walk up on the enemy from behind. And you would call back the base. Pick up whatever item you wanted first. To get a ward. And then you move on to your jungle camp again. The speed buff should be back up then by now. So you're clearing this out. Please note that jungle camps, the start time, this can change from patch to patch, but we're looking only at the gods themselves. So in this case, your tower in mid is on attack. You move to mid and defend it. That has priority over your jungle camps. And since you're in mid already and the mid camps are back up, do not move back to your camps in the back. Try to secure the mid lane camps. It's much more important than getting those back camps, since they provide a little bit more XP and a little bit more gold. You can move over to this camp here. If it's up, do it. Can check if the totem of Ku is up. If it's up, go for it. Secure it. Gives a nice little buff. Increased movement speed, mana regen. Usually, yeah, something like this. Then you can look for a gank. As you can see, it's pretty easy with Arachne. Always so easy. She does more damage with basic attacks, 1.5 physical damage increase for every 5% of the target's missing health. So you really get a ton. Of physical damage just for your enemy missing health. And Venomous Bite does also a ton. There's also a ton of damage. It's a stim ability. It applies initial damage hit, then you get tick damage, and it also heals you using it while it's active. It's pretty good ability. The damage and the healing is applied every 0.5 seconds over 3 seconds. So it's a very powerful ability. Of course, the other great ability is Cocoon. It gives you a massive boost in attack speed, up to 70% at max rank, and also stuns for 1.4 seconds. And you always want to use web on the enemy. So you're shooting a web in front of you, and then the enemy is slowed. And while the enemy is slowed, we're attacked here. Let's solve the situation really quick. Now you can basically hear the totem again. Do the camp here. And also if your enemy laner is dead while you're in the solo lane, invade the blue buff. This is crucial. If you've just killed the solo laner and his blue buff is up, go for it. He needs, it's a very important, it's a buff he needs to stay on lane longer, so get that. And that's not the case, and you haven't killed your enemy laner, but the blue buff is coming up, and you're on the blue buff side, then move, ignore all other camps, except the speed buff, a movement speed buff, which is jungler's buff. Then go to the blue camp, secure the blue buff for your jungler, for your solo laner, I mean. And so you can pick it up and it's not gone. Then you look for an opportunity again. As you can see here, enemy solo laner is low on HP, so you can go for it. You just killed your solo laner, so basically walk over. And also note that if you're doing buff camps, don't do them when your laners are dead. They need that buff, and that buff will go to waste. So when you do that, usually they come to the buff camp as well and help you. So you share the XP and the gold. And then when you walk, yeah, basically like that. And when you walk back from the blue camp, go to the back camp here, then go to the other back camp. If you haven't done let's just pretend we would have done or no, let's not pretend, get our movement speed buff. And then we move on to the mid camps again. Secure the mid camps.
Lie dormant, my your time will come.
Your left tower is under attack.
We've bought a ward earlier and we haven't placed that yet. Basically, probably the most ideal location for that ward in the early game is probably like like here, I would say, is a very deep ward. Gives you vision on your enemy jungler pretty much, since you pretty much see him coming out of the well, I pretty much see him coming from his speed buff. And usually he will do the two closest buff camps as a back camps anyways after that. So by placing the ward here, you can see him walking up to this camp here, and you can also see him or this camp over here. And maybe your solo laner has placed, since we have Eye of the Jungle, your solo laner usually wards the blue buff from the enemy solo laner. You could technically also place a ward at this B camp here, possible as well, but at least in the early game he will place a ward over here, so you have that covered, so you know that your enemy jungler when it shows up here somewhere. Yeah, that is basically on the solo lane side, and so you can make probably plays on the dual lane side or in mid lane. Most important stuff is that put a ward here. It's really great. So then we go back to the mid camps, we look for opportunities again. We have no opportunity mid. You can help out with the wave in the middle here again. It's pretty large. Your mid laner maybe wants to back, so help him push out wave in the middle. Yeah, and then it's basically just always moving from buff to buff first. So secure the red. Maybe secure the purple buff. And always look for opportunities to gank.
I have been humbled once again.
It's pretty important to always look at the minimap so you know where the enemy jungler and also the enemy laner is. And yeah, I would say that's pretty much, yeah, well, okay. Then there's her ultimate, the chase. Yeah, it's a chase, a spell for chasing. Of course, you can. Let me just buy some stuff. Of course, you can also use your ultimate for chasing with the improved movement speed and stuff. Let's just showcase gank once more. Actually, we forgot to bring wards, so let's just don't buy this item now at the beginning or the mid game. So you want to gank these guys here. Could start like this, throw the web out, so they're slowed and you have increased movement speed. You don't always have the opportunity to get them like that. They might run away from you. Or you're in a situation where things went bad. Then you have your ultimate, it's an escape tool and initiation tool. Let's use it as an initiation tool. We come here from the side, we activate. Okay, it's done already. And we can also, while we are in Arachne's ultimate, we can activate our 1 and 2, or our 2 stim abilities, which we will do just before we jump on our prey. And if the ultimate's not up, you always open like this with your web, blocking there she got out. So basically with the web, you're trying to cover the escape route when you're ganking. Just have to read the situation a tiny little bit. They could escape from here. Also make sure when you gank that you have this area here as solo lane, you have this area here covered. And yeah, so you know when where the enemy jungler is running around. Pretty important. So maybe you can, yeah.
An enemy.
And oh my god, yeah, that was a bit yeah, it's not completely misplaced. You can pretty much
Setting bounty.
place it here if you're looking for a duo lane gank. And then it's pretty easy. We throw the web out. We'll slow down the enemy a bit.
Kill.
The same goes, by the way, for the mid lane. So make sure. So these two deep wards are really great for throughout the entire game. If you can maintain them, go for those. It's 100 gold investment, but it helps you with planning your ganks. And since you always know, probably most likely know where the enemy jungler is, they will also always do some back camps or their speed buff. So initiate with the ultimate, activate stim abilities, jump off, and yeah, will be something like this. Should the enemy still have some HP left, throw a web after him, try to hit him with the web when he tries to escape, because the web slows him down and gives you extra movement speed when the broodlings yeah, sort of caught him. And yeah, that's pretty much for Arachne, which one of the top 5 jungle gods for beginners, and we were moving on to the next god. So the next god on our list is Bastet. She's also very easy jungler, since her kit she has low skill floor and also low yeah, skill ceiling. So that means she's very easy to get into. They can focus on jungling itself. Plus she does a ton of damage. She has very easy ganking. Well, really hard to pull a gank off with her. So as usual, yeah, I will start with Bomber's Dagger, and then we would get one of them aces, like this. Pick whatever you think you need. And yeah, then let's go. So for clearing the camp out, we can start with Razor Whip. Oh wait, do we want to start with Razor Whip? So let's get yeah, this is 120. Yeah, this is roughly 140 damage. So let's go with Razor Whip. I throw it like this. Clear the camp. And we move on to yeah, the camps here. Try not to hit the camps.
First blood.
So try not to hit the camps where the bleeding damage. Yeah, let's go over the kit real quick. With tracking sand, you can so when you've damaged a target, you get extra movement speed, lasts 3 seconds, which is really great for ganking. But let's continue. So we check out if they are contesting the mid camp here. Otherwise, we are going for the mid camp and do it. How can the enemy contest the mid camps? Well, the jungler is just as fast as you, and he's arriving here at the same time like you. And the enemy mid laner cleared out the mid wave already, so you always need to check out if the enemy mid laner has faster clear or stuff. And should that not be the case, if or they have cleared at the same speed, then you also team up with your mid laner again to secure the mid harpies. So mid harp is done, then you push out the mid wave a little bit. So usually you would clear out the mid wave. The red buff is not up, the red buff's already done. And then you keep moving on with your mid laner. Since you're here already, you're doing the back car pick quick with him. He goes back to mid lane. You can move on to the support buff over here. Yeah, well, actually, you wouldn't. You would try to get the oracles quick. But as we're here now, we have leveled up our 3, so our 1. And the 1 is what makes her ganks in the early game so yeah, successful and so easy, and in general makes her entire kit quite easy. It's called the Pounce. With Pounce you can jump through walls, so you don't need blink active. Let's move over to the duo lane. There is an opportunity now. The enemy laner is low. So let's try to jump on. Also start like this, slow him down with your 3. Basic attack. And then you shouldn't die to the minions. Let's just ignore that happened. Let's do some sort of regular gank again. So first of all, we would quickly get our movement speed buff, and you always, like I said, keep the wave going. Probably don't want to. Okay, there's a gank opportunity in mid. Then we are moving over. She's already running, and if we are lucky, or since she is that low, we can just jump on the tower real quick. She might be backing here, so move a little round. And she's still going. Usually this is very far up here. As you can see, you would meet the enemy jungler here. So you don't want to chase that far into enemy territory. But let's say she would back up like here at her mid lane tower. You can basically jump in from this location, unload your kit quick, and press pounce again, so you jump back to your original location. Keep in mind, you need to we just, Jesus Christ, let's buy the how's it called, the chalice of the oracle real quick, and let's also wait for the gold so we can buy a Jotun's Wrath. Yeah, something like this. yeah, ignore the fact that we are completely under-leveled at this point. We should have cleared much more camps and stuff by now, but that's not what we are doing here in this guide. We are exclusively talking about the god. Yeah, maybe max the 3. Yeah, keep clearing camps. So you have a gank opportunity maybe on... Yeah, solo lane looks rough, so jump in with pounce. Try to hit that, slow the enemy down, use all your abilities that are currently not a cooldown. You initiate with pounce, cast Razor Whip and Ensnaring Claw on the enemy. Yeah. And then, like always, to have successful ganks, deep warding always helps. So we're placing it somewhere here.
Contacting cleanup crew.
Your enemy jungler
Astounding performance.
will do a speed buff here like you. Then he will most likely move to this camp.
Ally down.
And then he could either go this route here. Sometimes if these are up, should always secure those. Something like this. So you have ultimate now. The ultimate's really great on Bastard because it's a stim ability that gives you 2 cats, and these 2 cats will copy your abilities and deal at max rank 40% of Bastard's damage when she uses the abilities. So what's happening here is you get 100% from all the abilities for Bastard, just for Bastard herself, and then each Guardian will also apply the damage from her Pounce, Razor Whip, or Ensnaring Claw, but only at 40%. So since it's 2 cats, it's a total of 180% of the damage applied. So if your ultimate is up, always use the ultimate for a gank. Usually that's enough to 100 to basically 100 0 enemy. Basically you can jump from here in, basically from this spot you can pounce in again. Let's just check if that jungler is she's still on lane.
We're a man short. Astounding performance. Adding bounty to account.
Keep in mind this can go a little bit south. Let's go back quick. And then we're doing some actual ganks with the ultimate up. So solo lane's not doing so well, it looks like.
You're right. An ally has been
and the enemy solo laner's really far up.
Tower has been destroyed.
Yes, we are a bit under-leveled now, but doesn't matter. So we activate our ultimate, then we press pounce, jump in. Voila, we did a ton of damage. This is pretty much so ultimate's down, so we only have pounce available, but she's low anyways. She's like here. We can catch her. Yes, was quite easy. So the important part, let's talk about pounce real quick. So pounce does a lot of damage, and it's also your initiation. This is how you get, we can just hold back while we're talking about abilities. So important is that you initiate with pounce, you jump in, and then you have a 4-second window where you can press the button again to jump back to your original position. That's very crucial. So don't forget the 4-second window. So you should have your damage applied. We will do a couple more ganks and pounce, razor whip, and ensnaring claw. We move over, let's say, dual lane, the solo lane. We activate once we are close our ultimate. This was a bit too early. We jump in. And we activate our one again. Only if we have managed to get the kill. If we didn't manage to get the kill, we keep chasing, and then we won't reactivate pounce. But we can grab, basically kill this Chunga over here. She was very low HP, so we just needed to bounce. We immediately pounce back. And then we can, maybe keep clearing jungle camps for more gold, for more XP. Get the mid harpies maybe real quick.
Contacting cleanup crew.
And as you can see, there's some action going on. There was some action going on in. We can actually just gank again, activate ultimate, jump in.
They are no longer a threat. Target down.
And there was just about enough to get enough damage off. He avoided the razor whip.
Your team has destroyed a left enemy tower.
But it's not that bad. We could have also jumped faster back. Usually your enemy mid laner. So this is a bit greedy what we're doing now. We jump in on the buckers. And now we failed it. Sort of. Usually you'd be dead now. But we're level 10 is level 5, so it's absolutely fine. So this is how ganking looks like. It's quite easy to execute. The entire kit's quite easy to execute. We can go over the abilities quick again. Once we've hit the enemy, we get a scent on that enemy. The last 3 seconds, we get 20% movement speed, which is really great to chase down the enemy even further. Our initiation is always pounce. We jump to the target location like this. Then we have a 4-second window where we can activate the ability again. So we jump back to the original location where we came from. Also, you get 25% increased movement speed during that 4-second. You're moving 25% faster during that 4-second window. Pounce will do a ton of damage when jumping in, so don't miss pounds when you gank on your target. And then you unload pretty much just the rest of her kit when you're close to the lane you want to gank. Then just fire Razor Whip and Ensnaring Claw, and then think about if the target isn't dead, just keep auto attacking. But usually when you successfully get her Pounce, Razor Whip, and Snaring Claw combo off, then they're most likely dead if they're squishy. And if your ultimate is up, always gank with the ultimate. Use the ultimate beforehand. Activate the ultimate because you get two extra sources of damage. The 2 cats will apply all the abilities at when it's at max rank at 40% of the damage values you would deal to the target. So yeah,
He has been slain.
this is another one of the top 5 easy
Hostile forces diminished.
easy junglers for beginners. Bastard's a great pick to learn the jungle, how to be a jungler, and focusing rather on the map, which you always should do as a jungler, other than having to focus on the god you're playing, because you need to micromanagement some of the abilities. So then we are moving on to the next god.
An ally has left the game.
Alright, then we move on to the third god of 5 in the list for beginners. This time we've picked Dachi. Why did we pick Dachi? Basically, Dachi has like Arachne to stim abilities. Then her gap closer is also very easy to use. It's not the hardest. The kit's pretty much not hard to execute. The only hard part about her kit is maybe her ultimate. This is a skill shot, but having basically 2 stim abilities, this is no skill shot. This isn't a skill shot. Trickster Spirit is a skill shot, but that's basically simply it's not really hard to use. You also got a great passive. The Torture Blades pretty much works like the bleeding damage from Bastard. Let's get a few jungle items here. Dagger, Bambus Dagger, something like this. Maybe pick up a few pots, and if you want Hand of the Gods or something, don't have to. And so a 1000 cuts. So we have the Torture Blade damage passive. You get damage per so you get the physical damage dot on the camp. So we're hitting this here, and we can camp's cleared, and then I can just basic attack for the rest of the damage. Your basic attacks basically when you have the passive ticking on the smaller targets, keep hitting the bigger one to get that faster down. The dots from your passive will actually do pretty much the rest.
First blood.
So we've leveled up Horrible Burns. Second helps clearing. It's a stim ability. It does initial burst damage, and then you get bonus damage every 1 second for 3 seconds, which slows the enemy. And also does tick damage every 1 second. And so we reached the mid harpies, activate the stim, activate 1000 cuts, start hitting the 1000 cuts on mid camp, so it's secured. And then we can look for a gank, activate a stim, activate 1000 cuts.
Target down.
As you can see, it does a ton of damage in the early game. Hit is even at level 2, very easy to execute. Because you just need the basic attack, basically secure the camp over here. As always,
Ally down.
help your mid laner to push the wave if it's not already pushed.
Misery.
Get the Trickster Spirit, maybe call back. Then we're looking for gank opportunity.
Hostile forces diminished. Only the finest
Grab this up. I show you at the speed camp again how we do the camp. So we activate our stim, our one, the horrible burns. Horrible burns along with torture blades gives some very some insanely great
clear a man.
jungle clear. So turn it on. One hit on the small one, on the other small one, and then focus on the big one. Of course, when 1000 cuts is up, activate this in conjunction with your horrible burns. So activate the one.
Agony. An ally.
Do AoE damage, and also horrible burns is applied, and your passive is applied. Always focus on apply one stack of the passive and horrible burns on the small ones, and then
An enemy has been
which is actually super easy with so you activate horrible burns, then you activate 1000 cuts. Let's do that again for showcase value 1 and 2. So this is applied now to both jungle monsters, and now we have a gank opportunity.
hostile forces diminished.
1000 cuts is down now, just activate. Yeah, too late now. Yeah, we'll just do a camp over here. We want to hit level 5 really quick. Let's take some farm here. Do that camp really quick. Let's do the oracles. Usually your mid laner would help you doing those oracles here, or maybe your supporter.
Your right tower is under attack.
Call back one more time. Pick up an item. We're level 5 and have the ultimate now. Yeah. So let's go over abilities once more. We have the damage passive with torture blades, which does tick damage. It does damage every 1 second for 2 seconds, and the bleed can stack any number of times on the same target. So technically you can stack into oblivion. The bleed damage is also applied by basic attacks. not just when abilities are activated. And then there's Horrible Burns, Stim ability. The great part about Horrible Burns, this ability doesn't run out. You can have this activated indefinitely until you gank or you do a camp. So what's happening is she basically heats up her claws. Those claws start to glow when she's using it. And then you do instant bonus damage and an additional damage every 1 second for 3 seconds and slowing the enemy for 3 seconds. So Daji gains haste when this ability activates, which lasts until she hits a target. Yeah, so basically once you've hit the target, then this ability will go back on cooldown. And you can also, now comes the important part, always combine it with 1000 cuts. 1000 cuts is an AoE. Yeah, some 180 degree AoE. Because 1000 cuts will apply horrible burns on every target that is hit. Horrible burns that is hit by 1000 cuts. Daji also moves freely in all directions. She gains 40% increased movement speed, is immune to slows, knockups, and her tail mitigates damage dealt to her by enemy gods who are behind her. It's a pretty amazing ability. Also for escaping, when you want to get out of a sticky situation, then this 40% damage reduction actually can save you literally your butt. And of course it also does quite some damage. It's a total of 4 strikes. You can consider this stim ability. Basic, it works pretty much like basic attacking. Of course, it does a little bit. Each swing does a little bit less basic damage than your actual basic attacks, but it will apply horrible burn. It will apply horrible burns on every target. Yeah, you've hit with 1000 cuts. But let's pull a gank off, so we have horrible burns activated. Then we have Trickster Spirit. We use Trickster Spirit to get to our target quick. And we didn't kill him off at all. Now we cast the ultimate. And with the ultimate we can secure the kill here.
Charging battery.
But let's move on to one. Yeah, here's a camp. Let's move on to a camp quick, so we can see this with horrible burns and 1000 cuts. So if horrible burns is activated and we would start doing the camp, then horrible by just basic attacking, then horrible burns is only applied to one target. If we activate horrible burns and then use 1000 cuts, then horrible burns is applied to every jungle monster that is hit by 1000 cuts. So always use this together when you're doing camps with multiple jungle monsters. It helps quite a lot. Yeah, and also makes single camps faster. But let's because after the first basic attack, this ability goes on cooldown. This means all the damage and also the damage dot will only, and the slow will only apply it once. When you just basic attack, and when you use this, while this is active. Then you apply it.
Ally down.
Then you apply horrible burns on the first hit, on multiple targets when this is up. So we want to gank
Right tower has been destroyed.
that Chuck over there. So horrible burns is active, and now we activate 1000 cuts. So he is running. Now we Trickster Spirit
Astounding performance.
to gap close and also do some moderate amount of damage. And now let's check an opportunity where we can unload the full kit. So horrible burns is active. We're going in with Trickster Spirit. Get close like this. Just basically attack a little bit to get the horrible burns hit off. And then plus our passive. So the passive is ticking. Horrible burns is ticking. Now we're chasing the Sobek, it's still here, so
Contacting cleanup crew.
something like this. And we've also just seen, so this is 50, 60, you see the damage here. And this, too bad we couldn't see this. You can also use Trickster Spirit to escape, because you can jump on any enemy minion you want, and too bad this is too far away, won't get that. Trickster Spirit will also allow you to jump on a target of your choice, so this is probably one of the easiest to use mobility spell in the game. Also at least one of the easier ones. This is also great for navigating faster through the jungle. I'll show you.
An ally has been slain.
Only the finest blades will be.
Well, if you wanted to do the jungle camp, activate your horrible burns again. And then let's say we wanted to do a camp behind that wall.
Your right
You can just jump from here so
Has been slain.
to the camp. So now we can gank that Chuck over here again. But as you can see, as soon as the target indicator from Trickster Spirit is colored, then you can, let's do it again. As soon as it's colored, so you have a target you can lock onto. You can save a lot of moving around by just jumping to that camp, and so you can start doing it. Something like this. And voila. So let's check the abilities quick once again. So we have Horrible Burns, which is a stim ability, the first hit. It will do some burst damage on your target, and it will also apply a dot on your target, and it will also slow your target. So it's great for the initial gank, and you also get a ton of damage off, and the slow will help you chase your target down. It has special so when you use this solo, then you will only get one hit off. You can, like I said, combine it with 1000 cuts. Then you can apply it to multiple enemies or multiple jungle monsters. But like I said, this can only apply to multiple targets when you're using it with 1,000 cuts. And yeah,
Enemy has been slain.
then you have Trickster Spirit. This is your mobility spell. You can use it to navigate through the jungle faster, like this. So as soon as the target indicator is colored, you can lock onto the target with it and press again. Let's try to gank that jungle. So we have the horrible burns activated. And now we use Trickster Spirit to get, so we'll have to walk a little bit until we're in range. Trickster Spirit.
Diminished. Incoming news report. There's a
So, and there, voila.
in the area.
So, and we can use her ultimate, also really great. It's a very great
Enemy has been slain.
teamfight ultimate. Unfortunately, that guy is down here. Let's
We're
just
a man short.
wait here for them to show up. So basically, they don't know you're here, and then you would trap them. Or maybe not
An
trap
ally
them.
has been slain.
So you activate the ultimate.
Deleted.
That's good. So you activate the ultimate, the Pow Lao. It jumps on that Pow Lao device. It's some sort of torture device. And then you can fire, you can fire chains from it. You have 3 shots. And also the ultimate. And after you fired the 3 shots, the ultimate will end.
Hostile
And
forces
Dachi,
finished.
maybe showcase this again. I need more cooldown. So when the ultimate ends, you jump. Dachi jumps off the ultimate. The torture device. Let's get more cooldown. And she will jump off into the direction she's facing. So make sure you're not jumping under a tower.
An enemy has been slain.
That's not as desirable outcome in the long run. So we try to get a gank. We try to do a gank of the ultimate again, so we can basically do it like this.
Incoming news report.
yeah,
There's an unstoppable
really
force
sucks
in the
now.
area.
And as you can see, you can just move your mouse, and then you can choose the target location for the ultimate jump off. Let's gank this Chuck over here. Probably bad idea to do it like this. Trickster Spirit in. There, voila. So Dachi is very beginner friendly, since you don't have to think about you basically don't have to really think about that much when using her kit. Her basic attacks will apply passive damage. Activating her 1 is a stim. It will also passively apply damage when you attack the enemy. 1000 cuts is no skill shot. It has a couple advantages. You're firing a total of 4 strikes. That will hit all enemies in range and apply the bleed from torture blades.
Enemy has been slain.
And also from horrible burns. When you have horrible burns active, then it will apply the damage from horrible burns on the first swing of 1000 cuts to all enemies that are close, and also torture blades. Maybe I can show this once more.
I am untouchable.
And activate it.
No respect.
And yeah, once Horrible Burns is active and you have 1000 cuts up, use it. So you can get Horrible Burns on multiple targets, so to maximize the damage output. And then yeah, her Trickster Spirit, super easy to use. I mean, all you can go to
Your middle tower
enemy
is under attack.
minions and jungle camps, also neutral camps in that case. Allows you to jump to allies as well, like this. Maybe I have to run away from a situation. And yeah, but it's widely used to get close to the enemy when you're doing a gank. So activate your Horrible Burns.
I am untouchable.
Down.
Teleport to your target. Press ultimate, always good. Can get up to 3 shots off. The targets who were hit by the Power Lao will get pulled to the Power Lao. They are stunned for 1 second. Each chain applies some shot damage. The chain's also slow for 20%. And there's also a tick damage applied from the pull. Yeah. So when they're stunned, then they take damage 3 times over 2 seconds.
They are
So
no longer a threat.
it's pretty amazing ability as well. So the only hard part in her kit is actually landing the shots from Power Lao. It's the only skill shot. Basically in her kit, everything else is
Warning. You
uh,
lost an ally.
just
They are
activating
under
1 turn
strain.
when you're close. Her basic attacks,
Have slain an enemy.
yeah, the basic attacks apply bleed effect on the enemy. And yeah, that's pretty much it to Daji. And let's move on to the next one. So the next one on our list is Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Yeah, Nemesis has does a ton of damage. She scales very well into the late game. Her early game is not that strong. She has extreme high mobility. She has 2 slow abilities. She also has some sustains, self-defense with her shield. Her 1 is really great at chasing down the enemy when used together with her when you've applied slows from your abilities. And yeah, let's get items. Maybe something like this. Keep in mind, builds change, starter items change as well, so nothing set in stone. A kit is yeah, it's pretty straightforward. She has Scales of Fate, so 3-stack passive, which takes away up to 21% power from the enemy and adds 21% power to Nemesis. We start with Slice and Dice, that's our 2, to clear the jungle camp. Early game clearing is a little bit slow on Nemesis. You have an auto attack progression which you can cancel for faster camp clearing in the early game. So we would do 3 basic attacks, 1, 2, and 3. Use our Slice and Dice, 1, 2, 3, and then we keep attacking. So we have 1 basic attack rotation that went off a little bit faster. So with the second set of auto attacks, we can do this again. 1, 2, and Slice and Dice. 1, 2, and 3, and keep going. Then we level up her Swift Vengeance. That's a 1. That's our mobility spell and also does some damage. So we can use this to auto attack cancel again as well, 1 and 2, and then we Slice and Dice, 1, 2, and hit it down. Just take some farm and so
You have slain an enemy.
there we had an opportunity, as you could see. We didn't really sneak up on the enemy with Swift Vengeance. We literally flew there. And then we Slice and Dice the enemy. Keep in mind, when you're ganking, you need to hit the enemy with the middle part of the red part of the cone ability. Since only then Slice and Dice will slow. But let's get back to camps again. So we start with 1, 2 basic attack, Slice and Dice, 1 and 2, dash once, 1, 2. Yeah, actually I would have to reactivate
They better grow up.
dash again. Let's turn down sound a little bit. Let's just keep getting beep, so 1 and slash and 1 and 2, and again. So with the auto attack cancels on a Nemesis, we can we do have more DPS. So try it always to hit like, of course when you gank you need to use one of the one of her abilities to actually get to your target. Usually that's Swift Vengeance to get close. 1 and 2, you can activate this 2 times. The gap closing, yeah, is really great. It's pretty much one of the best mobility spells. This is only beaten by teleport abilities like on Dachi, which yeah, covers greater distance at the shorter time frame. So yeah. Let's do the auto attack cancels again. So we hit 2 basics, Slice and Dice, and again 2 basics, dash, and again 2 basics. So we have much faster jungle camp clear like that as well. And also when we gank, always try to use auto attack cancel. So we move over here. No, we don't. If we can. I don't have enough HP left. But anyways, we're going mid and try to kill the Chunga. So we are dashing in to cover the distance, 1 and 2, Slice and Dice. We would keep auto attacking. get your auto attack cancel on her, get far more DPS off than as you would by as you would if you would just let the complete auto attack chain go through. Later on, when you have a few more items, you can even swing 3 times and then auto attack cancel. But in the beginning, 2 auto attacks and then activate an ability, and then 2 auto attacks, activate an ability. Because you can also use that with your shield. See what we. Never mind. 1, 2, slice and dice. 1, 2, dash. 1, 2. And now we're level 5. And we have more potent ganks now. We're just randomly grabbing items now. That's well, it won't be. But basically, what you can build on Nemesis, just multiple build paths. You can go for a more ability-based build. Then you would just buy a raw power and a flat pen and percentage pen. But keep in mind, she doesn't scale that great with ability damage, since she has only 2 skills that deal ability damage. So I would always build her for auto attacks, since so basically she's also late game god, and she scales just like Arachne, better off attack speed items due to her passive, and basically Swift Vengeance is just a high mobility spell, and Slice and Dice is a rundown tool. Retribution is an excellent tool to just jump into big fights and come out on top. Because Retribution reflects 50% of the enemy's damage you would receive. You're also healed for 100% of the damage received, and the shield health is quite high. With 420, and the ability lasts 2.5 seconds. Nemesis has a low skill floor, but a higher skill ceiling, and that has mainly to do with with Retribution, her damage reflect shield, because you need to know what the big hitter is an enemy has to actually hit you. So high damage ultimates, high damage standard spells. So you need to know about those when you gank and fight someone. It's highly important.
Enemy has been slain.
And then there's last but not least, her second rundown tool, which is also effective against tanks, because it takes at rank 5 30% of current HP away, takes 30% protections away, and gives Nemesis 30% protections. It lasts for 5 seconds. And they're also slowed by 25%, while you gain movement speed 25% as well for the duration.
They better grow up.
So let's gank mid lane quick with ultimate up. So we dash in like this, use the ultimate, bam, and slow the enemy once more with
Your team has destroyed a left.
the middle part of Slice and Dice. I can show it again. So you want to hit the enemy with the red part of Slice and Dice. Your gank looks pretty much like this: dash in, gap close, slow auto attack. And if the target has too much HP, then also use your ultimate on the target. So they are slowed even further in conjunction with Slice and Dice. So you would open up with your ult. Let's see if we can get a full HP target. Actually, I would need to use require cooldown now. So slow, Daze, auto attack, and something like this.
I'll stay out of your way then.
This will tip the scales in my favor.
So let's go over to solo lane and gank that Guan. He's still gankable when I'm over there. So we would use Swift Vengeance 1 to dash in, ultimate, and then Slice and Dice
Gonna need to calm down.
to slow him even further.
Been slain.
And if you would have if he would have started to damage us, let's just see if we can get some incoming damage from one of the bots here. Yeah, we can basically just gank that guy over here. So we would slow him down. Activate the shield. As you can see, we were healed by the shield for the duration. We slow him further down. Activate our passive by basic attacking.
Only some of them. I told them to go.
Now we could also tank the tower a little longer while chasing down the enemy with the shield up. But this is also a nice application. And yeah, that's pretty much it for basically her jungle gameplay. So like I said, she's very easy to get into jungle role and stuff. The only hard part in her kit is her shield. You really need to know when to use the shield, the retribution shield. And also very important with the shield, if you're hit by hard crowd control and your shield is up, it's gone straight away. It won't shield anything, it won't heal you. And it will also not prevent damage, it's simply just gone. When someone hits you with a stun, or with a polymorph or something else that is a hard crowd control, and this shield is gone, and you're pretty much probably gone as well. So also keep that in mind when you're rushing into a situation, when to actually use this. Rather use it after the hard crowd control from the enemy was used, over
Not let 'em hurt
activating it when rushing into a situation. So you need to have an eye on that
They're gonna
when you are playing Nemesis. This is very important. That this also adds the most. This adds the difficulty layer to using her. So everything else is like beginner level. Yeah, application when it comes to the skills. Passive, Swift Vengeance, her mobility spell, Slice and Dice, her rundown tool number 1, Divine Judgment or rundown tool number 2. But using the shield correctly, this is where it gets difficult and where it gets complicated. Other than that, I think she's a great entry-level jungler for most people. And yeah, let's move on to number 5, and let's see who it is.
Middle tower is under attack.
Oh, and let's move on to Pele. In our list, Pele is also one of easy entry-level junglers for new players. She's, in my opinion, amazing at learning the role.
This land is in dire need of
And let's get to her. Get a few items here going. I don't know. Maybe something like this. So the first spell for clearing the camp we would get is her Pyro. Is her Magma Rush. That's a 3. It does area damage, it's a buff for Pele. She deals damage to nearby enemies and provides constant movement speed while the ability is active. When you toggle the ability again, you enter into an amplified state, so we are doing the first camp in the amplified state, so we can do it much faster. Keep in mind, it has fuel costs, but it has no cooldown, so you need to have a look at the passive window over here, checking the fuel. So, double activation. As you can see, camp was done really fast without losing too much health. And then we do the same again. Now it's almost depleted. And as the second skill, we get Pyroclast. That's her 1. And we're moving typically to the mid camp. But the great part about Pele is she's insanely strong at level 2. Activate your Magma Rush. Walk up. And yeah, pretty much should always be guaranteed kill. Here's the explanation why. So we have Magma Rush. Doing area damage and amplifying our basic attacks. And of course we always want to gank with amplified damage activated, so we get the max damage out. And then we have Pyroclast. Pyroclast can be fired twice. And when you fire Pyroclast, the magma piece will shoot forward, and then it will also come back again and deal return damage. And the fact that you have 2 charges of this ability will allow you to fire it twice for a lot of damage, 120 when fired both, and then another something like 20 damage when the Pyroclast piece comes back to you and fires basically at your target. So also we're at the mid camp, so we activate our Magma Rush again, and then we can double the Pyroclast. So our camp clearing goes a lot faster. It is pretty much insane, and at like level 2 she's probably the best jungler in the game. And what makes her her kit just makes her insanely easy accessible. So we can fire 2 instances of Pyroclast, 1 and 2. So we got 2 up. You saw. And then the magma piece comes back to Pele. So it's fired towards that. Let's clear that camp. Amplified addition of Magma Rush. 2 more camps, so we hit level 5 quick. We've also spent 1 point into her 1. We get to that when we do the next, before we do the next gank. But I also want level 5, so we have our ultimate available. We max out Pyroclast first.
Be careful.
Always keep an eye on the stacked passive meter for Magma Rush. Just pick up that quick. Now we grab ourselves some farm in the mid lane. Only 1 charge of Pyroclast available. You can see here in the passive meter your 2 charges of Pyroclast if they're up. Currently we only have 1. Now we have 2 charges
An enemy has been slain.
since the flower has lit up. Ding. Stuff behind here should let us hit. Don't forget to deactivate the ability again. You can also you can keep Magma Rush running for more movement speed and so faster jungle navigation. So we got the ultimate now. Let's go back and get our item.
Your right tower is under attack.
Allied down.
Now we go over the other 2 abilities. So the next ability, the second ability is called Eruption. This is also a great ganking tool, and unfortunately the only CC crowd control she has in her kit. It does damage and it also knocks up all enemies. The knockup is a little bit delayed, so activate this roughly before you're about to be in melee range to your target. So you get the knock-up component exactly in this moment off. And at ranks 3 and 5 the area expands again at a delay, dealing less damage and smaller knock-up. So there's 2 more. There's one more time eruption is going off and knocking up. And then there's last but not least her ultimate's called Volcanic Lightning. It's one of 2 skill shots in her kit. Pyroclast is a skill shot. You need to aim, and Volcanic Lightning is a skill shot as well. It's a dash ability with around 60 range. So when we would gank now, we would just before we are approaching our target, double activate Magma Rush, press ultimate. So we get the first hit in, double Pyro Clash, and also what we forgot here is to activate our eruption just before we use the ultimate. So eruption knocks up at the moment we are flying in with our Volcanic Lightning ultimate. The Volcanic Lightning ultimate also need more cooldown.
With ash and brimstone.
The Volcanic Lightning ultimate also allows her biggest gap closer, while Magma Rush only provides movement speed to gap close. With Volcanic Lightning we can go over distance of 60 units, which is quite a lot, I would say. It's not that bad when you miss your target with Volcanic Lightning. Since Volcanic Lightning doesn't just do an initial damage on the target. It also applies cone damage. Basically, your auto attacks for the next 10 seconds or 3 attacks. Every time Pele hits with basic attacks, she instead deals ability damage in a cone originating from that enemy. So during this time, Pele's basic attacks deal 50% reduced damage. So keep that in mind as well. But you can also hit multiple enemies with for the next 3 basic attacks when Volcanic Lightning is active. In my opinion, so then she has the passive Everlasting Flame. When she drops below 50% health, her flame is set alight, and she gets increased physical power, lifesteal, and ability lifesteal, and this has a 30-second cooldown. This is pretty nice before you gank, and let's say you've dropped to about, I don't know, 20% health or something. Then just start doing a couple camps and you're healed up by a great deal. And yeah, and I think the hardest to use spell in a kit is Eruption. Because you need to time the knock-up. You need to get a feeling for the knock-up timing, since it's a delayed knock-up basically. Let's see how that could look like. Let's go to mid. Always go in with the Magma Rush double activated. And then when you're slowly approaching the target, like now, press Eruption. So the knock-up goes off the moment you're reaching your target. And then it's just simply firing Pyroclast. When you've reached the target, just fire Pyroclast twice as fast as you can. And keep auto-attacking, since you get from Magma Rush, with the activated amplified Magma Rush, you deal extra damage. Let's see if we can do this again once more. That was the knock-up. And the first charge of Pyroclast. And yeah, once I have figured... once I've got the feeling for eruption timing, then I'm pretty much set on Pele and can focus on actually playing the jungle rather than focusing on the champion you've picked, the god you've picked. So yeah, so that's it for the top 5 junglers for beginners. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you in the next guide. Not sure which one, hunters, supports, solo lane, mid lane, but look out for it. See you next time.